What's up, YouTube family? Yeah, everyone should be a Pseud at this point. It's really necessary. Like, if you don't read theory, um, I don't know how you can really wade through the world. It sounds ridiculous because how many people read philosophy and theory? But the thing is, it's like this. If you are online at all, like if you have a Twitter or a Twitter, um, you're already dealing with like complex philosophical ideas and political theory just coming at you all day. You're already dealing with it because everything is just politicized and intellectualized. But the thing is, when you're on ingesting this stuff on Twitter and Facebook, you're getting like the most bastardized, like you're getting the most low quality junk food version of the ideas. You know what I mean? It's like you're getting Foucault, but just digested and masticated by some 20-year-old kid with like, serious mental health issues or whatever. If you're, you're wading through the stuff already. And you got to go to the source. And this is the thing, be a Pseud. Like, first of all, you don't have to understand everything. In fact, you don't have to even understand 50% of the shit because, first of all, it's good for your brain to just read stuff that you don't get. I do it all the time. I've been doing it for years, It's like working a muscle, sometimes you fail on the bench, but it's like, when someone online is you hear someone being like political correctness is hypocritical, right? Half the time that guy saying that to you is a jerk off. And so it's, you're obviously you can't help but go to the ad hominem because you can tell that the guy is a jerk off. So your argument is definitely going to be like, okay, you're basement dweller, whatever. But then if you actually read like Zizek, then you're like, oh, you get the highest level, gourmet version of that idea, and you get a guy who's not a jerk off, explaining to you the internal contradictions within liberalism and democracy, and how that there are unresolved questions regarding globalism versus nationalism, like stuff like that. Okay. And there are all these examples of this. You're on Twitter, people are yelling, or not even Twitter, you're like reading The Atlantic, you're reading any kind of media outlet. People, someone's just like bodies, black bodies, trans bodies, you're policing my body, don't police my body. And it's like, yeah, the kid yelling that at you is some annoying, gassed up liberal arts kid who's just word vomiting some magnetic poetry of some humanities shit that they like vaguely heard. But like, if you then go and check that out, you check out Foucault, you're like, oh, all right, this is the highest cream of the crop version of this idea. And you're like, okay, bodies, you start to see why someone would use that word, and it's like, oh, he's got this idea of biopower. There's this idea of how power works in societies, and that it's not top down, and that there's this, you see what it means to have power enacted on the body. I'm not going to go into all this shit, but it's like, that's why it's good to check that stuff out. And this is some shit that I get shit for this. I get some shit, but like, even with some like right-wing shit that's kind of gross, stuff where the person saying it is just like what I would consider a piece of shit, right? You can at least, you go back to the highest level versions of some far right shit. And again, I get shit for this, but you read like Carl Schmitt, Ernst Junger. I mean, these are actual intellectuals, and they'll give you the highest level version. Here's some racist piece of shit screaming about against immigrants. Okay. He sucks. All right. But then, you can read and be like, okay, well, what's the point of a national border? What are the histories of borders? What is a nation? What does it mean? How were nation states founded? Why? You can get the highest level version of even some stuff that's kind of evil. And then you can at least, it's not like you're necessarily going to be convinced of it, of the point that the asshole was trying to make, but at least you can understand a coherent version of the idea. There's theory behind all the stuff that everyone just hive-mindedly is vomiting around. So I think everyone should just kind of get into some theory at this point. Be some half-baked Pseud person. You read half of a book, you're going to be more informed than most of the people running their mouths. All right. So this is why everyone should read theory. Get on it. It's fun anyway.